Hello and welcome to our fourth video on stress management during COVID-19. This video, we're going to be talking about mindfulness and what it is, why it's important, and how to do it, as well as going through a couple activities. Last video, we talked about paradigm shifts, our perspectives, and positive attitudes. Hopefully this video you'll find useful as we go through some of the key points on what mindfulness is. So let's start there. And let's start with the gentleman who really brought mindfulness to the United States, the Western world, and has done a tremendous amount of research on it and has shown why it's so impactful. Jon Kabat-Zinn. And this is how he defined mindfulness. He says, mindfulness is awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally, in the service of self-understanding and wisdom. He says, we all take ourselves too seriously because we believe that there's someone to take seriously. That me, we become the star of our own movie. The story of me, starring, of course, me. And everyone else becomes a bit player in our movie. And then we forget that it's a fabrication, it's a construction, and that it's not a movie, and that there's no you that you can actually find if you were to peel it back. Are you your name? Are you your age? Are you your thoughts? Are you your opinions? Are you your genetic inheritance? Even your genes. If you meditate or eat differently, they're going to be expressed by the hundreds differently. So you're not even your genetic inheritance. So who are you? How much of our time we are running the narrative of I, me, and mine, which is now being identified with certain regions of the brain that do that narrative default mode. And here's where the rubber really meets the road. The question is much more important than the dime store answers that we come up with. So then we can notice this phenomenon called selfing. How much of our time we are running the narrative of I, me, and mine, which is now being identified with certain regions of the brain that do that narrative default mode kind of thing. And then mindfulness, MBSR, has been shown to light up other areas, more lateral areas, where there's no more story of me. It's just this breath, that out breath. And it's not me breathing either. If it was to me to be breathing, I would have died a long time ago. So I know that was a really long quote, but I think Jon Kabat-Zinn had some great things to say in there. From identifying of this mindful place we go in our mind, where we stop the me-I narrative and allow us to just be and notice and get rid of our judgmental ways that we all have and stop that and just be. It allows the brain to go into other areas that you probably don't use as often, which goes into what we're going to talk about next, the benefits of mindfulness. So there's lots of different benefits, from the stress management, the whole reason why we're talking about it now, to many other things. So here's a few things that mindfulness does. It can allow you to get better sleep. So practicing mindfulness is kind of like practicing anything you would do in life, whether it's a sport or an instrument. As we practice mindfulness, we become so much better knowing how to center ourselves and to relax the body and become mindful in the moment, which allows us to be able to sleep better, allows us to relax more. It's a practice that if we do it more and more, it becomes easier and easier. So better sleep. Also, it can help towards weight loss goals. It's found to decrease loneliness, help banish temporary negative feelings, improve attention, manage chronic pain, help prevent depression relapse, reduce anxiety. We also notice that it increases the gray matter in the brain, which is really important as your brain ages. It's also been found to be good for our hearts, which we're going to go over a mindfulness activity that's called HeartMath that really focuses in on the heart, and it can have a lot of benefits. It can increase the gray matter in your brain, which goes hand in hand with one of the other findings, is that mindfulness may decrease cognitive decline from aging or Alzheimer's. It also may improve your immune response. It may reduce cell aging, and it also may help reduce psychological pain. So that's a list of many of the benefits you might find with mindfulness. I find it personally when I practice mindfulness and I use it in my everyday life that I feel more calm. I feel more comfortable to be in the situations I might find myself in that may be more stressful. So it can be very impactful. Now that you've kind of understand what mindfulness is, what are the benefits, let's practice some different examples of mindfulness. So we're going to go through a couple different levels. The first one is just identifying how to be mindful in any given situation. The second, we're going to go through what's called HeartMath. And the third is we're going to go through LovingKindness meditation. So first off, using mindfulness in everyday situations. First off, in the last video, we talked about breathing, which we're going to talk about breathing in HeartMath. But breathing is something we can do in most situations. Is just quickly take a breath, maybe 3 of them. And that can kind of bring us back, center us, increase our oxygen, and just being mindful in the moment. But mindfulness can be a lot of things. So we can use it in a lot of moments of what's going on with my body, and just being mindful of what I'm feeling, what's happening. So for example, like when I'm driving, especially if I get in traffic, I might find myself white knuckling that steering wheel with a bunch of people around me. And I've noticed the more that I've developed and worked on my mindfulness, that when I'm driving, I'll start driving, and in stressful situations while driving, I'll all of a sudden do a check-in, just a mindful check-in. And I'll just do a quick scan of my body, noticing where tension points are, and then I'll relax them. And I'll be mindful while I'm driving of what's going on with me, what's happening around me, and it can really reduce stress even in those moments. That's just one example of how you might apply mindfulness in many situations. Other times I use mindfulness, even when I'm a parent. There's times I feel frustrated, or my kids are causing stress, or I'm overwhelmed. There's so much coming at me at once. And I might take a breath in that moment. I might center myself. I might be mindful of what's going on and not judging me, not judging those that I'm interacting with, but allowing the pace and space and place to just be. So centering, taking a deep breath, removing the judgment, and just be mindful of what's happening, and patient and kind with everyone involved. We're also going to be talking about in another class on how to do mindful eating, or just being mindful of what's in front of you, what you're putting in your mouth, and what you're doing with your food. But mindfulness we can use all over the place. And as you get better, it starts becoming a way of being. So that's one way. Our next way I want to talk about is HeartMath. Now this is a breathing technique. HeartMath was introduced to me from a good friend and colleague of mine. He found it and brought it to me and showed me how it works, and I gave it a try. Now the really cool thing about HeartMath is it's a breathing technique, but it can also look at your cadence of your heartbeat, cadence of your heart rhythm, and look at your stress levels, what's happening. And it's literally found that when we breathe certain ways and we do some of the HeartMath techniques, we can change what's happening with our heart. Now I'll have to admit, the first time that I did this, first 2 times that I went through and tried HeartMath, I'll have to admit, I didn't notice anything. Everything felt pretty much the same. But after about 2 times, it was about the 3rd time, I started noticing a difference. When I would go do HeartMath, I would all of a sudden feel, physiologically, I would literally feel something changing within, and I would literally feel the relaxation. And now I really enjoy the HeartMath activities and exercises. It's a big impactor. So HeartMath itself is a program that you can look up and go do, but their breathing technique I think is really valuable, and that's why I want to talk about it. So first off, let's define HeartMath, and let's talk about how the company defines it. So the company defines HeartMath as a heart-focused breathing. And what is a heart-focused breathing? Well, heart-focused breathing is about directing your attention to the heart area and breathing a little more deeply than normal. As you breathe in, imagine you are doing so through your heart. And as you breathe out, imagine it is through your heart. In the beginning, placing your hand over your heart as you breathe can help you in directing your focus to your heart. Typically, HeartMath recommends that you breathe in about 5 to 6 seconds and breathe out 5 to 6 seconds. Be sure your breathing is smooth, unforced, and comfortable. Although this is not difficult to do, it may take a little time to become used to it. But eventually, you will establish your own natural rhythm. So let's go ahead and try that. So you might want to put your hand over your chest with your heart, and then you're going to imagine, if you'll do this with me, imagine breathing into your heart. So 5 to 6 second breath in, and breath out. So then you'll want to do that for a good 15, 20 seconds. Give it a try. Notice the breath going into the heart and the breath going out of the heart. Again, this breathing will make a big difference if you practice it and you keep focusing on it, and it's a great mindfulness activity. So our last activity today, we're going to go through a mindfulness practice, a meditation that's called LovingKindness. It's actually one of my favorites, and that's why I choose it for this video. I've done lots of different types of meditations. I've done ones with sounds. I've done ones where it's quiet. I've done ones where we have certain things we chant. I've done a lot of different types of meditation. The one that impacted me the most, and I just really felt was very value added, was the LovingKindness. So I hope you get as much out of it as I did when I went through it, and each time that I do this activity. And I'm going to put on a nice scenery on this video so that you can feel calm, relaxed as we go through this meditation. As I go through this meditation, there will be times that I pause and allow some room for a little silence as you ponder on the things that we are meditating on. Become comfortable in your chair or cushion, sitting with a relaxed but straight posture with your shoulders relaxed. Allow your hands to rest comfortably in your lap. Gently close your eyes. Settling into your awareness of the body and the breath. Feeling into our body right now. Noticing what's here. Open to whatever is to be experienced in the body in this moment. Connecting to the breath. Noticing the wave-like movements of the belly. In this practice, we'll be cultivating loving kindness. We all have this within us, this natural capacity for loving kindness, or friendship that is unconditional and open, gentle, supportive. Loving kindness is a natural opening of a compassionate heart to ourselves and to others. It's a wish that everyone be happy. We begin with developing loving kindness toward ourselves, allowing our hearts to open with tenderness. Now, allow yourself to remember and open up to your basic goodness. You might remember times you have been kind or generous. You might recall your natural desire to be happy and not to suffer. If acknowledging your own goodness is difficult, look at yourself through the eyes of someone else who loves you. What does that person love about you? Or you may recall the unconditional love you felt from a beloved pet. It may help to use the imagination and to picture yourself as a young child standing before you, perhaps 4 or 5 years of age. If that allows tender feelings of kindness to flow more easily. And as you experience this love, notice how you feel in your body. Maybe you feel some warmth or heat in the face, a smile, a sense of expansiveness. This is loving kindness, a natural feeling that is accessible to all of us, always. Resting with this feeling of open, unconditional love for a few minutes. Letting yourself bask in the energy of loving kindness. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Inviting feelings of peace and acceptance. So beginning now to wish yourself well by extending words of loving kindness to yourself. I'll be offering as guidance the phrases that follow this practice. You are invited to alter these phrases and choose whatever words express your wishes of loving kindness toward yourself and others. And now offering these words in your mind for yourself. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be held in loving kindness. May I feel connected and calm. May I accept myself just as I am. May I accept myself just as I am. May I be happy. May I know the nature. May I know the natural joy of being alive. And now repeating in the mind these words of friendship and kindness to yourself once again. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be held in loving kindness. May I feel connected and calm. May I accept myself just as I am. May I be happy. May I know the natural joy of being alive. Now you can open the circle of loving kindness by bringing to mind someone who is dear to you, someone whom you care about and who has always been supportive. Reflect on this person's basic goodness, sensing what is in particular that you love about him or her. In your heart, feel your appreciation for this dear one and begin your simple offering. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in loving kindness. May you feel my love now. May you accept yourself just as you are. May you be happy. May you know the natural joy of being alive. Now bring your mind to a neutral person. This is someone you might see regularly, but don't know well. It might be a neighbor, a grocery store clerk. Bring this person to mind now and repeat the words of loving kindness. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in loving kindness. May you feel my love now. May you accept yourself just as you are. May you be happy. May you know the natural joy of being alive. And now, if it's possible for you, bring to mind someone with whom you've had a difficult relationship. Perhaps it's someone you don't like to feel sympathy or compassion for. Seeing if it's possible to let go of feelings of resentment and dislike for this person. Reminding yourself to see this person as a whole being, deserving of love and kindness. As someone who feels pain and anxiety. As someone who also suffers. Seeing if it's possible to extend to this person the words of loving kindness in your mind. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in loving kindness. May you feel my love now. May you feel my love now. May you accept yourself just as you are. May you be happy. May you know the natural joy of being alive. Now allow your awareness to open. Now allow your awareness to open out in all directions. Yourself, a dear one, a neutral person, and a difficult person. And all beings, humans and animals living everywhere, living in richness, poverty, war, peace, hunger, abundance, aware of all the joys and sorrows that all beings experience. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings be happy. May all beings awaken and be free. May all beings be happy. And now bringing this practice to a close by coming back to extend kindness to yourself. Sitting for a while and basking in the energy of loving kindness that may have been generated here. Take some time, allow yourself to go through the feelings of loving kindness that you have felt during this practice. So hopefully you enjoyed that meditation practice. Hopefully you feel a little bit calmer, a little more relaxed, and can see the value of meditation. There's a lot of different mindful apps out there that you can look up, and they can even help. So there's lots of resources. Google, look up what you can find, but mindfulness can have a big impact, and you can use it in many different areas. I do a relaxation one before I go to sleep at night. I just kind of go through my muscles and I just relax the body, and I do that mindfulness there. And there's many other ones I use, and depending on the situation, depending on my stress, depending on what's happening, I might use different techniques. So look them up, find other ones, and if the ones I showed you today aren't useful for you, feel free to look up other ones and find ones that do impact you, that you do feel connected to, that help you feel centered. Because mindfulness can be very impactful in your life. I appreciate you joining us with this video, and I hope you got a lot out of it, and thank you.